Hey, what's up everybody? This is my review of Deluxe Class Dark of the Moon Barricade. And here is Barricade with his very oversized mech tech weapon. And you can see here the gimmick is you pull back on the lever and out come the claws of death. And it's kind of funny because I think this reminds me a lot of a garden trowel or a rake. So anyways, this would look better, I think, on a larger figure like a Voyager class Dark of the Moon figure. On him it looks very much oversized. But as you can see here, he has one single mech tech port right there. And it's interesting to look at the gas cover. It's not really a functional gas cover, but where it's kind of like a etching in the plastic. There's one here, but then there's also one over here. And obviously cars don't have two gas covers or gas tank covers, but I think at one time maybe Hasbro was thinking about putting a mech tech port here and here. That would be the only explanation as to why they have that on both sides. Now, size comparison with the original Barricade. I think this is the premium deluxe Barricade from the first movie. We'll just do a size comparison here, and you can see, the original is much bigger than the current Barricade. You can see there. And design-wise, you can see, the spoiler itself is colored differently. This has got some nice silver stickers on there. And of course, on the premium 2007 Barricade, for the most part, the windows are basically painted. You can see there, whereas this is all clear. You can see the robot bits inside. So that's really the differences between the two of them. Other than that, I think they're pretty much similar, and they even have the same numbers on them. So yeah, so there you go, a little comparison. So with that said, there really isn't much more to say about vehicle mode. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to transform this guy. It's relatively simple transformation. So let's take a look. The first step in the transformation is very similar to the transformation for the original 2007 Barricade. What you want to do is you want to take the whole section here and separate it from the car. It's actually going to form the arms, and take this section here and do the same thing. And the next thing you want to take care of is the legs. Now the legs are really tightly fit into this area here. You can see here at the feet, the leg, the hip, and the connection point to the pelvic area. Taking it out is not that difficult, but when you're transforming the car, or transforming the robot back into car mode, and you come to this step right here where you're putting the legs back in, it can be really, really frustrating. I don't know why that is. Well, it's just basically it's a tight fit. But anyways, you want to grab onto the legs, and you want to just pull them out of this cavity here. You actually want to separate this portion of the vehicle, and then pull out. You can see the legs will come out like that, and separate the legs. And what you want to do actually is you want to rotate the, see there's this little joint right there. You want to rotate this around 180 so that you have the the purple pelvic area facing towards you, and then it's going to snap into this area here like that. And then you can kind of take care of the legs and the feet. The feet come out like that, as you can see there. And these just simply fit or lay back behind his legs. These rear sections of the vehicle mode, they come down and lay behind the hip area. So next thing you want to do, you want to separate the hood section from the window section. There's actually a joint, you can see right there, that's going to allow that process. So you want to take it and separate like that. You can see it will allow the head to pop through the hood. And looking at the front bumper here, or not the bumper, but the I guess you call this the, I don't know what you call this part here, but you want to basically take it and you want to rotate it around like that. What that allows you to do is it presents you with a different grill, but it also has a slot. And you're going to slot this tab into this slot. So you kind of just have to line things up here, and they should snap securely in place. And the next thing you want to do is you actually want to take the the arms here. There's this joint here. You want to fold it up against, as much as you can, against the upper body here. So it's kind of like looking like that. These actually come up, and the arms themselves have an interesting transformation. You can see they separate at 2 points, and now up until that point it's all similar to the original Barricade, but then this panel here, this white piece of plastic, actually separates. You can see there is that joint right there, and adds a little extra step in the transformation and makes it unique from the transformation for the original Barricade. Again, it comes off like that, and you can see it articulates out like that. So that's pretty cool. And lastly, you want to fold out the hands. You can see there's articulation at the fingers as well. And really, that's the transformation for Dark of the Moon Barricade. So here is Deluxe Class Dark of the Moon Barricade in robot mode. So jumping right into articulation, the head is on a ball joint, the shoulder is on a ball joint. There are 2 points of articulation at the elbow. You've got a swivel type joint and a ball joint, which connects the upper to the lower part of the arm. You have a bend at the wrist there, and these 3 fingers all are on one joint. So you can see you can make a closed hand there. He does have waist articulation due to the transformation. Now we come to the interesting part. If we take a look at the way that the leg is attached to the pelvic area here, you can see obviously you have a ball joint there. That's no surprise. But you have this connecting rod here, for lack of a better term. And as far as what the correct transformation is, I think it's like this. It's hard really to tell in the directions because they don't really tell you to rotate or push forward the leg. But you can see if I was to basically push the leg up here using that connecting rod, it makes the figure overall shorter. You can see how that goes. See how that would make the figure shorter if you did this like that, as opposed to leaving it like this. So I can only assume this is the correct way. There is a swivel right there at the just below the ball joint for the hip. You do have 2 points of articulation at the knee and a single point at the ankle. And what I like about the arms on this figure is they are really posable. And you can see it breaks up the arm into 3 separate pieces or components. And I like the way they did the little door here. Is basically, you can see it's on a hinge on both of the arms, and it adds just a little more a unique look to this particular Barricade. So go ahead and compare this guy to the original 2007 Barricade, and as you would expect, the new Dark of the Moon Barricade is shorter and overall is smaller. And there's just a look at the two together. And we can take a look at the head sculpt for Dark of the Moon Barricade, which actually is a nice head sculpt. I was really disappointed with the Dark of the Moon Sideswipe head sculpt. So this is a nice thing to see, that they actually put some thought in some paint apps and some detail into the head sculpt. So there's Dark of the Moon Barricade's head sculpt and the original. You can see there. So overall, I mean, you can see, even though he's smaller, I like the way they did the arms, because what you can do with Dark of the Moon Barricade is you can get him into this kind of pose. You know, you really can't do that with this guy here. One of the reasons being is he really doesn't have any hands per se. This is his hand right here, and all it is it's just connected to this chunk of plastic. So there's no separation of the hand with the rest of the car. I mean, you can't. I mean, it's clunky. I mean, it has articulation, yes, but you can't do the pose like I did over here with the original Dark of the Moon figure. So there is greater articulation at the arm slash wrist slash hand in the newer figure, so which is a plus. And design wise, I mean, you can see this guy has a much broader chest, almost, even though, you know, you would usually think that bigger is better, but in a way, comparing them two side by side, I kind of like the way this guy looks better. This guy looks, in comparison, he looks really chunky at the upper body. So, just my observations there. Maybe do a side view size comparison, that might be better. And get you guys an idea of the size or how they compare. And of course, you could straighten out the Dark of the Moon Barricade's legs, but that wouldn't necessarily be the correct transformation. So there you go. And just final thoughts. Well, if you already have this figure, this guy right here, this Dark of the Moon figure, is kind of worth getting. I mean, the head sculpt is nice. The articulation in the arms is nice as compared to the original. Especially if you like Barricade or if you like Ford Mustangs, then, you know, I recommend you get the figure. But this figure here, if you already have the original and you aren't that great of a fan of the Barricade character or figure, you can pass. I mean, you're not missing out on very much, I don't think. You know, but like I say, if you're a completionist or you like Barricade a lot, or like I said, you like Ford Mustangs, then yeah, you know, you're going to get it because of that. But if you got this guy here and you don't have some of the other figures and you want to get the other figures, I would go get the other figures first and then pick up this guy last. Alright, well, this has been a review of Dark of the Moon Deluxe Class Barricade.